What's up, guys? Welcome back to OG Sports TV and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. We have the Super Bowl coming up this Sunday. I'm so excited. This episode, we're going to do a little bit more than just the normal game preview with the X's and O's and the stats that I've been normally been doing. We're going to talk a little bit about the philosophy and the legacy of this game in regards to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and even the Patriots. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Like if you like, subscribe if you're new. Here we go. I mentioned in the intro that this episode is going to be a little bit about the legacy and the philosophy of this game in regards to Brady, Mahomes, and the Patriots. And you can kind of see it coming, right? Like this game feels like the passing of the torch from the goat to the baby goat. And it's funny to think about it, and it's funny to make memes, as I'm sure some of you have seen on Twitter. But this feels like, I know Brady has one more year on his deal, and he might play till he's 45 or even later, as he said recently. But there's only so long he can play. You don't know if this may be his last Super Bowl, and Mahomes has his entire career in front of him, and it feels like Mahomes is. It feels like he's going to be the next one to challenge if Tom Brady is really the GOAT or not. And I want to talk about this game as what it means to the both of them, because really it's a win-win for them, both of them, just being here. Chiefs won last year, and they're back in this, so they have the potential to be a dynasty because they're making back-to-back Super Bowls. They might win back-to-back. Who knows? They don't look like they're not showing any signs of stopping. And Tom Brady, he's already won 6. He got to the Super Bowl in his first team, in his first year on a new team in a new conference with a new coach, for the first time in 20 years. That is such an accomplishment in its own, even at the old age of 43. So he's already solidified as the GOAT for the moment until Patrick Mahomes gets there, in my opinion. But it's a win-win for both of them because no matter who wins or loses this game, it doesn't it's not gonna we're not gonna think any less of Brady or Mahomes because Brady has his, like as I said, Brady's legacy is already solidified. And if he wins this game, all it does is the almost tarnishes the legacy of the Patriots in the way that we start to think maybe it wasn't the greatness of Brady and Bill Belichick together, but it was the greatness of Brady almost, I don't want to say carrying, but elevating Bill Belichick, who's still a tremendous coach and might be the greatest coach of all time, definitely one of them. But this game, if Brady wins this game in his first year on a new team, in a new conference against the Chiefs, who were just an absolute buzzsaw, there's no argument. Like right now, most people already think that way of Brady, but after this, there would be absolutely no argument against it. There would be no way to argue. He would have 7 rings, which is unreal, and one of them would be, as I've already mentioned, with a complete different circumstances than the rest of them. And as for on the Mahomes side, he has his whole career in front of him, as I've already said. He's a great coach. He has a great team around him, an organization that seems like they're doing things in a smart way and they're really committed to him. And even if he loses this game, it's like, oh man, well, your offensive line is really hurt, as I'm going to get into later in the preview. And you really just came up against the GOAT who really went for it in one of his last go-rounds. And I don't know. I just think this game is so interesting, and when you think of it in terms of legacy rather than just who's gonna win, but it doesn't matter. And in this sense, it doesn't matter who wins or loses because everybody's still gonna be good. This is not even if Tom Brady or Mahomes comes out here and plays awful, we're not gonna think any less of them because of what they've already accomplished and what Mahomes in particular we still think will accomplish for the rest of his career. So I wanted to get into that a little bit before the preview, but I'm going to get right into the Bucs offense versus the Chiefs defense. All right, I said that we're going to start with the Bucs offense versus the Chiefs defense, and the reason for that is because I'm going to touch on the Chiefs offense and the Bucs defense in the reverse side of this right afterward. But I wanted to start with the Bucs offense because I think that this is way more important than what the Chiefs offense will do because I feel like that's almost a given. But the Bucs offense they cannot make mistakes. What they need to do in order to give themselves the best chance to win this game is they need to stick to what got them here. They can't try to do too much, and they can't try to put too much on Tom Brady's shoulders. They have a great opportunity to run here because the Chiefs just don't care if you run the ball. They don't care if they run the ball because they know they have a great and underrated pass defense, which is first in DVOA in the postseason. And the reason that they don't care if you run is because they're usually up on teams. So teams aren't really going to try to run anyway. So if they come out there and they score first, the Buccaneers that is, then they will really have a good opportunity to play keep away from Mahomes, and I think that's their best chance. And in the past game, they really need to try to attack the Chiefs linebackers in coverage because the Chiefs are strong everywhere else. They're strong on the defensive line, and they're strong in the secondary way more than you'd think. It's more than just Tyrann Mathieu. Juan Thornhill has really reemerged, and he's playing the games of his life at the moment. So I think an important part of this game is the Chiefs are gonna blitz Tom Brady on defense. Their defenses are not scared of Tom Brady shredding them on the blitz as much as they used to be, and Tom Brady doesn't have a weapon like James White anymore to dump off when he's getting pressured. That Leonard Fournette has been better catching the ball lately, but he's still not that great. Ronald Jones can't catch. So what are they going to do? Are they going to keep someone small and fast in the backfield for a type of release type of screenplay like a Scotty Miller? I don't think that's the way that they want to use him. So I it's gonna be tough because I know defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is gonna blitz Tom Brady, and it's gonna force Tom Brady to make throws on the perimeter that he doesn't want to throw. You saw it in last week against Green Bay. Even though they won that game, some of those interceptions in the second half were from pressure coming up through the middle, and he throws deep balls on perimeter. Shout out to Jair Alexander for making one of those interceptions. And the Chiefs have the exact type of weapon in Chris Jones at defensive tackle to do that. So I think the Chiefs defense has a real opportunity to be the turning point in this game because people are thinking it's going to be a straight shootout. And I think that maybe we should pump the brakes on that just a tiny bit because I think the Chiefs defense has a lot more to offer than maybe most realize. So to recap, I think they need to do what got them here. They did not try to do too much too early. They need to absolutely take advantage of the Chiefs letting you run the ball. They need to attack the Chiefs linebackers because that's their weak point on defense. And they need to try to get the most they can out of the running backs in the short passing game. Maybe they can try to design some short wide receiver screens with Antonio Brown, who's questionable, but I'm assuming he's going to play. And they need to do everything they can to counteract the blitz, because if the Chiefs blitz and they get hurt a couple of times, I think they'll back off, and when they back off, that's when Tom Brady will really be able to shine. Finally, into the Chiefs offense versus the Bucs defense. The biggest weakness the Chiefs have in this game, and almost their only weakness, is their offensive line. Their offensive line is not up to 100% strength. They're missing about 3 players, but at the same time, the players that they have are good enough, and you can see it in the game against the Bills, and you can see it in the game against the Browns. They're good enough, and I think that the Bucs on defense, their biggest way that they can contribute to winning this game is they have to absolutely take advantage of the Chiefs being weaker than normal on O-line, and they have to get to Mahomes, and they have to find a way to create turnovers. And this is the way that they've been winning so far in the playoffs, but it's harder when you're facing someone like Patrick Mahomes, who really doesn't turn the ball over like that. And we said that about Drew Brees, and we said that about Aaron Rodgers, and they did it anyway. So anything is possible, but it's going to be really hard with someone with the quality of Patrick Mahomes and he's younger than both those guys that they played. So that's the way that they do this, though. They have to go out there, they have to pressure Mahomes, they have to get him on the ground, and they have to create turnovers. If they come out there on the first drive and they get like a strip sack, man, would that help their chances? That would really help their chances, because I think they need some sort of early momentum in this game on defense in order to really show that they're here to win this, even though they're at home. It's just how good that the Chiefs are. And yeah, another thing, the coaching matchup, Andy Reid versus Bruce Arians. I think I'm taking Andy Reid, especially with his record after a bye. And even though Bruce Arians had the same bye this week, Andy Reid with Mahomes as a starter is 6-0. They've never lost after a bye. And granted, 6 games is maybe not a large enough sample size, but I think it's telling. It's 6-0 after a bye with Mahomes. And Mahomes, CBS Sports tweeted this out yesterday or the day before. Mahomes in the last 450 days has 25 wins and one loss. And that one loss came in division against the Raiders when the Raiders, they scored 40 plus points and gave up 40 plus points. They won just an absolute shootout. I don't think that's going to be the case this week, given to what I've already talked about the Chiefs defense. And the Buccaneers, how else do they approach this? They have to get to Mahomes, but can they blitz him? Mahomes has 136 passer rating against the blitz. They have to get there with 4, and luckily enough, the Bucs have the players to do that with Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett playing the way that they're playing. They can definitely get there with 4 guys. It's just, can they do it consistently enough throughout the entire game to be able to keep them from scoring? And how can they stop the Chiefs' weapons in the secondary? How can they do this? Because if they say they play zone and they blitz some, Travis Kelce's going to find spots. Some of their other players, Tyreek Hill maybe is better against man coverage, but I think Sammy Watkins can find spots. I think their running backs can find spots out of Le'Veon Bell can do that. And against man coverage, the Chiefs have just a wealth of options of speed to beat man coverage. Tyreek Hill, who just exploded against the Buccaneers in the regular season for seven catches for 200 in the first quarter. So, and not to mention Mecole Hardman, who I think will probably score a touchdown this game. Mecole Hardman and Damian Williams and Le'Veon Bell and Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is playing in this game. They still have Byron Pringle. Like, they have all these players that you may not think about right off rip that can beat you in man coverage. They can beat you out of the backfield. They can beat you deep. Travis Kelce can find spots in the zone. And Mahomes is great against the blitz. And can you think about a game where Mahomes hasn't been pressured and he's played badly? I can't. So I don't know how the Buccaneers can create enough pressure consistently and stop Mahomes or create enough turnovers to be able to keep the Chiefs from outscoring them. I really don't. Granted, I've said that every time so far this year in this year's playoffs, and the Bucs have won, but the Chiefs just feel too good. And Jeff Schwartz said this on the Mina Kimes podcast recently. The Chiefs can play a B game and win. The Buccaneers can't. The Buccaneers have to play their A game, and they still might lose if they do. So this is going to be a really tough game for the Buccaneers, even though I think they have the advantage in both trenches. I still think the Chiefs win this game, and that's not something I can say about a lot of teams. I think if this was any other team coming in with the O-line issues that the Chiefs have, they wouldn't be favored like the Chiefs are. And reminder that the Buccaneers are at home, and the Chiefs are favored by 3.5. It's absolutely insane. So, to recap, I think that the Bucs defense can get there with 4, and I think that's what they have to do because they can't blitz Mahomes. But I'm not sure it's enough. So, tell me what you guys think about that in the comments. All right, guys, that wraps up another one. Thank you so much for watching my Super Bowl preview. To recap, I picked the Chiefs. I really think they have the best chance to win this game, even though the Bucs absolutely could win it. And since I picked the Chiefs, that means that the Bucs will win it. If you've been following this channel since the beginning of the playoffs. One thing to say before I wrap up, please follow me on Twitter. If you use Twitter and you like to see my thoughts during the week and during the game, I will be live tweeting the game. I'm sure I'll have lots of thoughts as things play out. So my Twitter will be down in the description. Follow it if you'd like. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to get updates on all the new content. Remember, be kind to someone today. That's real talk.